Lagos. Good afternoon, Nigeria. Good afternoon to everybody that is listening to me out there. Welcome to Tech Vibes on Lagoon Radio. And we're streaming live from our Marina studios. Follow us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook is Lagoon Radio Nigeria. For Twitter and Instagram, it's Lagoonradio.Ng. You can as well call into the show. Let's make this very interactive. Call in. The number is 081 8952 4666. I repeat, 081 8952 4666. Yeah, you can watch us live on our YouTube channel, which is Lagoon.TV. And of course, you can check out our website. We encourage you to go there for more news, more information, more info. Yeah, I still remain your host. Welcome to today's edition of Tech Vibes. I am Odo Emmanuel. And today we're going to be looking at Industry 4.0. Wow. The world is changing rapidly. And technology is changing the way we live, the way we think, the way we breathe. In fact, everything around us is changing thanks to the power of technology. So today, we're going to be looking at Industry 4.0 and how we got to this point. But before then, I'm going to talk about some of the news that made headlines within the week. Yeah, number one on my list is it's about this crime that was busted in Kenya, between Nigeria and Kenya. So Interpol, Kenya government probed two Nigerian financial tech tycoons, Demuren Ehi Kari, over suspicions of transfer of 128 billion from Nigeria. Wow. These guys, the two fintech tycoons, Bukumi Olufemi Dumeri and Ego Sarari. These are the two guys that transferred over $221 million in between 2020 and so it's a whole lot. And between October and November 2020, so man, they've been on the Rev'd of Interpol and the Kenyan government, and there are so many people who are involved, especially from the other side, from the Kenyan side, which they try to shield the names of the top politicians that were involved. These guys were able to transfer over to 25.6 billion shillings, Kenyan shillings, which was wired from Nigeria to Kenya, from where some of the funds were now moved to Europe and Asia. The transfers, of course, were made between, like I said, October and November 2020, when much of the world was still grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic, and these guys were cashing out big time. The transfers were made from Nigerian accounts, from Nigerian bank accounts of about 10 shell companies registered in Kenya. The companies were said to have been registered under identical names in Kenya, Dubai, US, Nigeria, and in Ghana. So this was well planned, and kudos to them, Sha. So these two guys, the Egosaseri and Demuren, they have claimed to both own the company named RemX Limited. So these guys were busy cashing out then, and kudos to them. So let the appropriate authorities do the needful. So secondly, I want to talk about Elon Musk. Yay, Elon Musk, the richest man on earth. After his acquisition of Twitter, he has been making, doing some couple of tweets, and a lot of people have been saying so many things about the acquisition and maybe its plans, his future plans for Twitter. But alongside, while he took that moves, the thing was a right investment on his own particular brand, which is Tesla, because Tesla shares appreciated, with over like 8 billion shares, everything was just going up, grain. The sheets were just grain. It was bullish. So kudos to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is making history because when you have money, you can control the world. Like they said, money rules the world. When you're $1 billion guy, you can throw a couple of billions around. Just without even shaking, you can throw. Can just decide to buy a country. In fact, I think they also put Nigeria up for sale uh, at a very ridiculous amount. I hope it won't get to that point. I hope our leaders will think straight and try to fix it. So, Elon Musk, we know there was an acquisition of Twitter at $40 billion, which is massive. That's a whole lot of money. And I'm sure Jack Dorsett will be smiling to the bank now with a lot of money. $40 billion is no joke, man. With that, you can buy. What can you buy with $40 billion? You can buy a private jet. My producer, what can you buy with $40 billion? That's crazy. That's a whole lot of money, man. So kudos to Jack. So you now have enough money to play around with. So maybe you could just pay us some. Just send some to me. Maybe just maybe like $1 million buck. I'm very happy. We'll sing your praise throughout this year. That's good, but that's good news. It's good to smile into the bank on a very good after you've done your own hard work and somebody comes to buy your company at a very ridiculous amount. That price is crazy, man. $40 billion. That's a whole lot. No, you could buy some West African countries with that amount. You could just buy a whole space. With you can buy a full country like all those Central African Republic. Even some parts of Nigeria. Man, that's huge. In fact, we're saying that the net worth of the richest man in Africa is even that money was even it was bigger than the net worth of Dangote. That's serious. So I didn't say that. That was what they said, though. So another thing making the news is about these guys. I don't know what to call them. These 88 FB sites that went down and they were trying to implicate Flutterwave that they froze their account. I don't know. I think in Nigeria, all those gambling sites, gambling and cryptocurrency is not. I think it's not allowed. Yeah, I think the government frowns. In fact, banks don't. So I'm sure they must have. I don't know. I don't know. I've not investigated into that matter, so I don't really know in details what must have conspired. But I'm sure Flutterwave have done their due diligence, and I'm sure there must have been some maybe red flags, some things or some transactions that were not, that were looking suspicious for them to have flagged, that account and froze the entire thing. Some people are saying that the platform is a Ponzi platform, so I don't know if that's true, but all we know is that the account was frozen, and that was why I think Flutterwave for the second time consecutively is trending, so that's either way is good publicity for them somehow. So back to what we want to talk about today. Yeah, Industry 4.0. The world has woken up. The world is a new and a better place now, despite the fact that we have the war between Russia and Ukraine, which is depleting the world's resources now. But even at that, there are positive vibes. So what is Industry 4.0? So this just basically refers to the transformation of industries through the intelligent networking of machines and processes, okay, with the help of the information and communication technology, basically ICT. The term is used interchangeably with the fourth industrial revolution. So it means these things must have gone through specific, timelines and periods from the first the first revolution industry to the second, to the third, to the fourth. Now we're in the fourth, and people are even started talking about the fifth phase, like the fifth generation or the fifth revolution. So why is that very, very important? And why are we even talking about it today? As technology emerges or as technology evolves, you know, there's always a new dynamics towards it. And sometimes it's for the good, sometimes it favors some people, sometimes it brings about disruption. Or if I might use the word disruptive innovation. So we've seen along the line, so like I rightly said, it's just like an end-to-end automation. So though there are a lot of components, a lot of things that are involved, which I'm going to still, talk about in detail, but it's all about networking, connectivity, the global world, one village, So the world is becoming so dynamic that I don't even need to leave the shores of this country to be able to do business, my business successfully in maybe Kenya and somewhere around Asia, maybe Singapore, maybe in the Latin Americans, maybe somewhere around, you know, anywhere in the world, in Estonia, even in Russia, I can do my business while still, in the shores of my own country without even leaving the comfort of my room or my chair or whatever, my couch. I can actually transact businesses globally, with the aid of the internet. So with the aid of your virtual meetings and stuff like that, I can set up, my board globally. So while these technologies are reshaping the way we do business, the way we think, and the way things work, uh, and as the technology evolves, it means there's going to be a lot of disruption in this space. So I'll just take us down to memory lane history, back when it all began and how we got to this point. So the fourth revolution, industrial revolution, was first introduced by a team of scientists, developing a very high-tech strategy for the German government by the name Klaus Schwab. He's the executive chairman of the World Economic Forum as of then. He introduced the phrase to a wider audience in 2015, talking to them about how the world is going to be, how we're going to have smart machines, how we're going to have industrial Internet of Things, how things, are going to be cyber physical machines, things, interconnectivity. When you talk about AI, talk about artificial intelligence, the world has started seeing a dynamic, a new, or a shift, a paradigm shift from 4G to 5G network, 5 generation network. And what does this do? The network is just an enabler of high connectivity, speed, at a very, very, very fast pace. So, which means that these devices like your self-driverless cars can communicate real time with traffic lights, with sensors on the road, real time, and it's going to be passing data. The data is what the AI or the artificial intelligence is going to be analyzing to be able to tell that robot what the right decision it should take. So this has really brought a lot of disruption in terms of the way people do business, the way people connect, the way we communicate, and the way we see ourselves. So with the advent of 5G, it has given room space for growth and for speed, basically, because with that, it means that if you have a smart factory, you don't necessarily need to physically be there. You don't even need people, to work in that factory. Everything will be automated. The robots would take charge of everything. So everything we as humans can do is going to be automated by robots, which means there's going to be a massive sack, a lot of job losses. But at the same time, still going to create serious opportunities for those who are tech savvy and for those who are tech inclined. So why there's this paradigm shift, so it means that you as a human can't be static. So if the world is talking about AI, you should start to think about how you're going to implement AI strategy in whatever you're doing. You need to do a lot of reading alongside with these things, understanding what IoT, Internet of Things, is all about, how it's applicable to your own industry. Because the truth be told, this is going to disrupt every industry. When I mean every industry, I mean every industry. With the advent of virtual and mixed reality, which Metaverse or Facebook is piloting, a lot of things will be done virtually. In the next 10 years, I don't think people would even be leaving their homes anymore. People will be stuck in wherever they are, and meetings will be done virtually, using all those mixed realities, maybe using your Oculus Rift and stuff like that. A lot of communications will be coming through that channel, and businesses will be so surprised that we transacting businesses worth of billions of in terms of transaction, billions of dollars. Yet you're still in confines. In fact, you are in a virtual world. You're not even in a physical world. You're going to be in the virtual. You can be in a virtual meeting for the whole day, and talking to avatars and stuff like that. So it makes a whole lot of sense. So, like I said, the first industrial revolution was was marked as the transition from hand production. Imagine in those days, maybe you wanted to do maybe the way people mat um, clothes or net, or the way they weave. In those days, it was weaving or matting or whatever. It was handmade and production. So the first revolution or industrial revolution, transitioned from using hand production, okay, all those hand productions and methods, to mechanical machines, through the use of steam powers and water. So it was more of like a mechanical kind of technology, all those using steam engines and water to power it as the driver. So that was that phase, that era whereby you will have all these large industries. Maybe when we're talking about this, we'll be looking at in 1760s to maybe like 1820s. So the implementation of this new technology took a long time. So the period which this we are referring to is between that 1760s, Eastern Europe. Then they try to transcend from using the hand production to using machines. These are mechanical machines that help them actually mass produce things those days, in like we're talking about centuries back. So they were just basically in Europe and the United States, and it's had consequences on like textile manufacturing, which were the first early or the early adopters of such usage or such change, as well as the iron industry, manufacturing. Agriculture. Well, not as much. Then it was still more of the organic way, using hoes and cutlasses and stuff like that. So the second industrial revolution, you know, gave birth to technological revolution. You understand? Whereby, and this is the period between 1870 to like 1914, that resulted into installation of extensive railroads, telegraphs, networks, which allowed for faster transfer of people from and ideas. Imagine in the 18s, you could have things like telegraph where you can send, a message real time to a particular another continent. So these things, as of then, they were top-notch technologies. As of that time, in the imagine 1871. Imagine what Telegram would be like. It would be strictly for the elites then, maybe the creme de la creme in the society as of then, So I'm not sure it would be for the masses then. So this was, this allowed people to, to transfer to faster to for faster transfer, sorry, of people from one location. Imagine then they had railroads, so you can move from maybe um, Lagos to maybe Kano, so and maybe move goods that were produced in Lagos or Kano, which was an industrial city then, or from Onitsha to Lagos. So then it became the norm, and at least people were able to transfer things easily. So that was how the second industrial revolution, started. And of course, these things comes. It has its own adverse effects. Of course, in those days, people prefer to work manual. This manual labor was, the people were in fact skilled in that area. So imagine creating new railroads. So things that people would have carried naturally, maybe with camels to certain location, you now have railroads that can actually carry those goods very large quantities and deliver in time than what you would have normally used maybe conventional way of traveling through the forest. Maybe you meet people that. So this caused a lot of unemployment as these technologies emerge. As they emerge, it makes some people redundant or moribund, which at the end they become jobless, and then they'll start complaining and start seeing the technology as evil. Meanwhile, it's creating other jobs for other people who are ready. So those in those days, imagine if you're a real operator, or you've gone to study how to, pilot a train as of that time. You know what that means. In that time, that will be huge, huge business opportunity for you. In fact, everybody will want to employ you because you're employable, because you're following trend, and you understand the use of the new technology as of then. So the third industrial revolution, which is also known as the digital revolution. This is where technology has started, witnessing the use of occurred in the late 20th century, and after the end of the World War, resulting into a slowdown of industrialization and technological advancements compared to the previous time. So people started using things like the computer. You understand? There was more advancement in telegraph then. There was people started using things like telephone. It became commercial. That was when people started using floating point numbers. That's when things like people started thinking logically. Things like Boolean and logic came into place. Things like algebra became mainstream. I remembered when I saw a video of the first IBM server that was, I think, built. It was like 16 MB, and if you see how big, how massive that thing was, sometimes I wonder how technology, has really evolved over time. I can have a small device that can, hold like 10 terabytes, 20 terabytes worth of information or data. Well, in those days, it was crazy for you to be able to store 10 MB was a huge investment in those days. So, but for now, things have really evolved and things have really scaled at a very astronomical way. Like things have gone beyond just the norms, and a lot of people who have really helped us transcend from the analog way to the digital world. I really say a very big thank you to everybody that has been a party to that. So, this gave birth to so many advanced things because like in the third revolution, the industrial revolution, that's when the internet emerged, and it gave birth to a lot of the computer, and the internet gave birth to global communication. It gave birth to the interconnectivity of the globe. All the continents, became a global village, whereby you can send mails from one part of the earth, from one end of the earth to another, real time, and it will be delivered, and you can communicate real time. There's the internet access. You can actually do video calls, real time, and stream. So this has given birth to a lot of things. Now we have planes flying around. We have people going to Mars with space rockets. So this saw a surge of like new things. We had in this third revolution, we had the industrial revolution, we had the supercomputers, we have a lot of things. The production process became semi-automated and fully automated somehow. The communications increased, the way people now communicate. So things that would have naturally taken you like maybe 2 years or 1 year or 6 months, maybe in those days when I was growing up, I remember if you had wanted to send a mail or something to, or you wanted to, talk to maybe your cousins abroad, either you send it via email, maybe you have a post box, and I don't think those things even exist anymore. I don't even know when last I visited a post office. Those days when you want to send something abroad, you have to, go to the post office, get a stamp, you know. I think I still met that time. So, but now the email has taken over all those things. You don't. What we now have is electronic signature. Can you imagine how just one piece of technology can change the entire race in the entire way people think. Just imagine like 10, 15, 20 years back, the post office thing was like the end thing. So if you're a postman or a senior post office master or something, you'll be like a super god then in those days. But now, technology has disrupted that industry and those things don't exist anymore. Post office are now like, I don't even know, they are not more moribund now these days. Though because they didn't, I don't know, maybe because it's a government parastatal, because I know of other postal services that are still functional up to date, and they've really taken it to the next level. So, but what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is the way things have really evolved over time with the help of the technology, and a lot of things have been reshaped. You know, the way businesses were done in the 80s, early 80s, and early 90s is no longer the way we do it now. Because one, there's easy access to communication. Imagine like 10 years back, what it was like, the internet penetration, especially in Lagos here. You know, for you to be able to stream a video via YouTube or any streaming platform, it was a big issue. It was a whole lot of problems then. Why you have your data buffering and your whatever you're streaming. You want to stream a video for 5 minutes, a 5 minutes video can take you like 1 hour because it will be buffering, you know. So, but now you can stream videos seamlessly, and data is even cheap. Then it was very expensive, and so now you can even purchase data as low as 100 naira, yeah, for 100 MB or something, or thereabout. But 10, 15 years back, it wasn't possible. So as technology evolves, it begins to reshape the way we think, the way we do business. It begins to disrupt our entire business structure, our lives. So the third industrial revolution really paved the way for the fourth industrial revolution, because now it gave room space for advancement in technology, in biotech space, in computing, in mathematics, in engineering. Now we have nanotechnology, things in a very minute size that are even microscopic in nature that the physical eyes can't see. You see high technologies, being done at a very astronomical, at very tiny, stage, and yet they're still giving, a good results. We have microchips, we have smart cars now, we have smart, machines. So these things have evolved over time, and the third industrial revolution really gave room space for this. It digitalized the way things, the way we're doing things, the conventional, the old structured ways we're doing things. From the first tier, which is the first generation, to the second tier, which is the second generation, now the third to the fourth. So why I'm spending much time on the third generation, because it actually prepared us into, or it has ushered us into the new realm, which is the fourth generation. So before we even talk about the fourth generation, there's still so many areas to cover in the third generation. So the third generation, enabled connectivity, the Internet of Things, enabled massive research on artificial intelligence, machine learning, using big data. Because as those technologies started evolving and people became very disruptive, we now started observing that data became like everything was like you could read everything, even from our body calories, how we exercise, how we move on a daily basis. It's enough data for you to be able to tell about your body. And also so many things, everything, every area, everything is now revolving around data, using data to actually do analytics to be able to forecast both real time, the present, and the future. So this was the soft landing that the fourth revolution had to be able to, disrupt the way we think. So it would be very unfair for anybody who is still living in the past to think that um, the way things were done in the 80s will still be the way we're going to be doing things. So the advent of COVID-19 changed the dynamics, changed the way we think, changed the way we even interact in terms of our behavioral mindset. You can imagine in those days, prior before COVID, People could shake freely. You could hug someone freely. You can go anywhere without even being conscious of your health or anything. But immediately there was that virus. Everybody started becoming very conscious about their health. People stopped shaking. People stopped hugging. People stopped. People became conscious. There's this consciousness, that awareness of like, you know what? No, I can't do this anymore. Things. No, we have to do this. Rather, some people even due to that pandemic, disruption, people now moved from that physical gathering to the virtual or the online world, which has paved the way for metaverse. I don't know, maybe there are some guys who are sitting down somewhere and trying to redirect the way we humans think, or they're trying to. Sometimes, with all the conspiracy theorists, they will tell you that yeah, the COVID-19 was orchestrated, to be able to advance us into what we call the fourth industrial revolution. Yeah, there might be elements of truth in it, but like I said, we're not here to argue with them. But what I'm just saying is the COVID gave room space for the fourth revolution, because now people now do things virtually. So what are the benefits, or what are the advantages of this? One is that people now spend more time online than going out. People now do most of their daily businesses online. You find out there are some people who do virtually everything. They transfer money, they do their meetings, they do prayer meetings online, they go to work online. They are always at the comfort of their homes, and they are making their monies, they pay their tax, they pay everything is done virtually. The only thing we cannot do virtually is to give birth virtually or to copulate virtually. But it has really given room space for in fact, a real growth in terms of how people think, and how we've transcended from just the archaic way of manual labor, of doing things hand production, to a more sophisticated, a more a more strategic, a more developed, a more well thought out way of doing things. Now I want to talk about the fourth industrial revolution. So what is the fourth industrial revolution, and what is it all about? What is the buzz around this fourth industrial revolution? Basically, in essence, it's just the revolution of the it tends towards automation. That's just the truth. Everything is automated seamlessly. With cyber physical systems, with IoT and cloud computing, these tools enable for real-time communications. So the essence of having automation is, number one is going to cut that physical manpower. So why you have everything automated, so like from your ERPs to your PRAs to things that you use daily, even your admin guys. I'm not even talking about the manufacturing plants now. I'm even talking about things like your administrative rules, all those things that have to do with the admins. Things like emails, receivables, your payables, even down to your accounting books. Everything can be automated, or it is automated now as we speak, real time. So we're not even talking about the smart factories. The smart factories now basically is being taken over by robots. These robots are the ones doing the actual jobs that we humans would have done. So which means there's going to be a lot of job losses. There's going to be, pay cut. A lot of people will be losing their jobs in the next 3 to 5 years due to automation. When I mean automation, I mean real time, from their factories, can be interconnected to other factories that they have globally, and those things can be done real time without any human intervention. So this is going to change the way we think, and it's going to make a lot of companies lay off their staff, because truth be told, why would I employ somebody that will be paying 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 when I can just buy a robot of 5 million and it will do the job for me for the next 20 years. I wouldn't even bother. Maybe the only thing I need to change is maybe the battery, or maybe if it's maybe some of the parts are worn out, I can just change them. If I look at the long-term investment in investing in robots than humans, what 5 people or 10 people will do in terms of manpower, in terms of time, you know, just one robot can do the jobs of 10 people. Why will I not invest in such a thing that would automate my business and that will make my business seamless? Because with those robots, there will be like 99% accuracy in terms of their production. So you see, so every wise investor or every employer would want to maximize profit, and they will want to reduce, because when you have humans, there's a lot of errors that you can even have accidents. So with robots, even if there are accidents, those parts of the robots can be replaced. And so rather than having people file lawsuits against you, maybe your employee, maybe in the process of operating one machine, maybe they end up injuring themselves or even lead to death, then the families will come after you and start telling you that you have to pay for all those things. And although some companies have policies in line with that, but even at that, it saves you all those stress. There are so many things. The benefits outweighs the disadvantages. So with that, you have a lot of automation. Automation is all about industrial 4.0, automating. So what are the enablers? What are the things that allow this automation to even thrive or to even work? So when we talk about these things, we need to look at the cyber physical systems. We need to talk about industrial IoT, that is industrial Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is the major driver of Industry 4.0, because now it means that devices can communicate real time without any human intervention. These devices can communicate and can send right information real time with the help of the fast internet. So with your 5G, 6G, you have, in fact, the speed of light movements with your internet. So like, for instance, you have robots, and those robots are connected via the internet or maybe other medium, machine to machine communication. So you can give instructions. Imagine if you have a factory or a plant whereby you're manufacturing cars, and you need to manufacture like maybe 2,000 cars in 20 minutes. With the help of the robots, these things can be. And number two is that it reduces hazard, because when humans are exposed to some of all these plant and there are some chemicals or some things that are hazardous to the human body. But with robots, you can't even have those issues. So they are not scared of maybe the exposure to all those hard chemicals. So they can do those things that humans will not be able to do real time. Number one is that they are faster, they are efficient, and they are productive, so than humans. So when you have things that can actually help you do things times 10 than what 10 humans can do, why would you not go for that? So most companies are routing for that. They are tilting towards that direction of automation, real-time end-to-end automation, from their logistics, from their production plant, from their raw materials to their smart factories, where you have everything is automated. You don't even need a foreman. Everything at the point of a button or the touch of a button, everything starts to work. And when they are tired, once you want to close, even at the comfort of your home, you can just press the button and the factory can be shut down. And you have sensors. They are smart sensors. These sensors are placed at every point where you need to monitor those in production line. So these things help develop, help in terms of efficiency, in terms of productivity, in terms of capacity, in terms of timeliness, in terms of uptime, in terms of efficiency. So that's the essence of why people are routing for automation real time in every industry today. So these are the factors that, okay, these are the enablers of these things. I can take them again. They are cyber physical systems. We have the IoT, the industrial Internet of Things, the cloud computing, where this information or this data are stored. Then we have on that cloud, we have fog, we have edge, we have different types of computing that helps the IoT tools work real time. So you don't need to start talking to a server somewhere in the US. Meanwhile, you can do like a small your fog or your hedge within that your confines where you can actually have that's low latency real time communication. You have cognitive computing, you have edge computing, then you have artificial intelligence, like we talked about. Uh, so the fourth revolution marks the beginning of the imaginative age. This is the age of creativity, innovation. So you don't even need. So I was having a discussion with some guys yesterday, and we're trying to do something. And because these kids are so unique and they're so smart, they started thinking about how to do things at a very easy, you know, we're talking about how can we get something done, and they were like, you know what, we don't need to do this thing from scratch. Can we get the software? Can we get the software? Can we get the software that can do these things real time? And in no time we come up with a prototype instead of wasting our time trying to do everything from scratch. And I was like, wow, this is very smart. It is a smart way of thinking. So these factors or these devices or this revolution, this change, this paradigm shift in the way we think, it's giving us room space to be able to do things real time and swiftly. So you don't need to start building from scratch. You don't need to start, just pick this bit here, pick this bit here, pick this bit here, pick this bit here, and combine them. And before you know it, you already have something, and you're good to go. You can even start talking to people who are going to be your potential investors, or people who want to maybe support you, or so this is what is enabling all this kind of stuff. When we have fast internet where you can download, because while we're talking about that, we're looking at what tools can we use. We're looking for mediums at which you can even get those tools for free, and eventually we were able to find some, and we downloaded them and we tested them, and the whole thing was so seamless that, and I was like, wow, technology is very good. 5 years down the line, I don't think, no, 5 years back, I don't think, that kind of level of thoughts would have been so easy like that, would have been so swift that, you guys can just sit down and say, okay, no, let's pick this thing, let's pick this, let's pick this, let's pick this, and join them together and become something that is sellable. So these guys, this has helped in the way, like I said, this is going to affect the way we think, because when these devices are available, when we have 5G networks, we have the IoT, accessible, we have cloud computing at a very cheap. Yeah, all those cloud servers are even, some are even free, free tier that you can even sign up for, and you can actually build solutions on. So these are the way it's redefining the way we think, the way the way our thought process is beginning to be redefined by these this trend or this pattern of the shift in way this technology is really affecting our lives. So imagine like 7 years back, how it was like for you to call somebody. Like I remember, not even, let's say 15 years back, then we had these Nitel lines that you need to go and get a card. So you need to. There's always a queue at those box or the kiosk where, and it was just strictly to Nitel boxes and maybe their offices or something. So imagine then what it was like for you to make a call. You have to go and queue before you now use your card, and you now make the call. Then after the call, you now go back on. But the advent of the internet gave room space for speed and communication. Then there was GSM. People could communicate real time. You can talk to anybody. Everybody has a phone, a mobile device. Or you just need to call the person and know where the person is. You don't even need to go. Maybe so if you guys are communicating in terms of, I can go to the website, someone's website, or even go to like a platform where, an e-commerce platform where people can showcase their products. Vendors or those who have mom and pop shops can actually showcase their products on the platform, which they don't even virtually need to have a virtual presence. Or they will have a virtual presence because they are on maybe on those social media platforms where they can sell their products. I know you just need to just call them. You don't even need to know the person. Call the person. I saw your product online. Can you ship it to me? And they will, yeah, why not? They will send you their account details. You will transfer the money, and in no time your goods or the products or the services shipped to you. You know, so the way things have really evolved over time, it's amazing. I know a lot of people who are into drop shipping. So I know a lot of people who don't even have a store. They don't even have a product. All they just do is go to different shops, snap goods, and come and showcase it on their social media platform. Yeah, and at the end of the day, when the order is made, they go and purchase that goods. Then they ship it to the person who purchased it, and they make their profit, even if it's 5,000, 2,000, or 1,000, even 500 as profit on one product. So imagine if you do like 10,000 sales a day at 500, you know how much that means. So these things were not possible like in like 15 years back, but with the help of the internet, with the help of social media platforms, with the help of this paradigm shift, people were able to do this. Now we're talking about the new norms. We're talking about the new normal, which is the fourth industrial revolution, whereby things will be so disruptive. And if you're not working or you're not in line, like if you're not keying in, you know, you'll be so left out that because everything will be moving at a very fast pace. There'll be no room space for, you know, relaxation or even taking a chill pill because everything will be working so fast. Like everything will be just fast, fast, fast. You have fast trains, you have automated um, homes, you know, so automated, you have devices that check your blood pressure. Even things like your shirt can even know if you have heart-related disease, and you know even your panties can know if you have STDs because with sensors tied to your pants, it can detect maybe your fluid. You know, it can check your fluid to see samples. So with AI, you can quickly actually, you know, yeah, I think that's even a nice idea. You know, having smart pants, you know, that can actually help you. Yeah, it will really help a lot of people. So maybe if you don't know that you have some of these STDs, with the help of a smart pant, it can actually detect if you have maybe even tell you the particular ailment that you have, the actual ailment based on data. Because once the smart pants is able to, the sensors can detect your fluid, your discharge. The fluid can actually analyze that information, you know, based on internet connectivity or based on data that is stored, all the kind of information that is stored on that sensor, you know, which is attached to your pants. So if, for instance, if you have syphilis, based on the samples and the urine test or the discharge that is going to be dropped on that pant, or maybe your boxers, it can tell if this thing is actually maybe it's gonorrhea or syphilis or E. coli or whatever, all those deadly diseases, all those STDs or even viruses. So imagine building a smart pant. So this is going to give room space for a lot of innovative things. You have smart singlets. So if you have heart-related disease, it can check your heartbeat, check your heart rate, know if maybe you're actually breathing well, if your pulse are okay. You know, it can actually from your sweat, your sweat, it can actually detect so many things in your body if you have any ailment. You know, if you're cold, it should be able to tell you that it should be able to, trigger something or trigger, maybe send you a notification via your singlet is connected to your smart watch or your tablet. You can send a mail to say, okay, man, your temperature is like you're not healthy. Why not go and see a doctor? And it can even refer you to a gynecologist or whatever, So you see that the world is connected seamlessly just from wearing a shirt. The shirt can, from your body fluid, or from your panties or from whatever, can detect if you have something that is wrong with you, and it will send you a notification via maybe your phone, maybe via your smart wristwatch or whatever you have on you, and it can actually connect you to a real-time doctor or maybe a physician that can help you actually based on the analysis. So the ailment that is in your body is known, so they don't even need to even run any scan or any test on you anymore, because based on facts, the data that's been fed into that device, it can actually tell if you're sick and a specific ailment that I said. So it can recommend a doctor to you and something like that, or somebody that you can talk to. So you see, and real time, the doctor on his own would have gotten feedback from your app stating that, okay, man, look, there's this guy somewhere around here that needs your service. And The doctor can either call you or you call the doctor real time or you send a mail. The app should even be able to send a mail on your behalf to say, okay, can we have like a meeting? So these are the endless possibilities of this is just like a bit of what this industrial revolution. I'm just even talking about our personal selves. I'm not even talking about the smart homes, being able to have a device that can automate everything in your house, from your smart TV to your vac systems, to your ACs, to your microwave ovens, to your even checking your kids if they are asleep with their beds, their smart beds, checking their smartphones if they've fallen off from their phones, checking whatever, to everything in your house, to your smart dustbins, to know um, if there are hazardous content coming out from your bin, so it can even wheel out the bin outside or something. So your smart door, everything is seamlessly automated, so you don't even need to even do anything. You're coming inside your house, you're lying on your bed, your TV is on because they know you're in the parlor. The sensors have told, has alerted the TV that the TV should need, and the TV needs to pop up because you're in the parlor sitting on your couch. So that's just the beauty of this industrial world that we have entered into, the 4.0. Everything is all about automation. Everything is all about connectivity. So even in our business place, imagine when you have a mom and pop shop, you have virtual reality, mixed reality that's going to be reshaping the way we do businesses these days. So people don't naturally need to come to your shop. If you have a virtual shop online, on your reality virtual world, people can actually place orders for your goods or your service. That is it. Then in terms of industrialization for smart factories, the Internet of Things is an enabler of that, because with the head of robots, you can automate your factory. Everything can be done real time. So you see that the way things are going to be done now, this is going to be disrupting a whole lot of things. You find out that from the first generation, when people were doing manual things, a lot of people lost their jobs because there was steam engines and water distance piloting those processes. Then when they entered the second generation, they started introducing the railroads and stuff like that, telegrams and stuff like that, which still disrupted a lot of people, because in those days there were manual ways of communicating, which was very stressful and takes either weeks. Sometimes those information don't even get to the point where it is supposed to be delivered. Then when we entered the third revolution, communication was made very easy. People could send emails through Telegram, to from Telegram to fax, from fax to emails. Now we have other mediums of transferring information, messages. Nobody is even interested in sending fax. I don't even think if fax still works. Okay, maybe in some organizations, but when you have emails that can be delivered, that can be encrypted real time, why would you want to do fax? So things have really evolved over time. So the next phase that we're going to go into now, like I said, is going to be more of like a mixed and augmented reality. At some point, I think email might even become moribund. It might become outdated because nobody will be even interested in sending, emails again. We'll get to that point whereby I don't know what will be the next thing, or maybe the next end thing. But I know for sure virtual reality is going to be one of the next shift in terms of how we do things. So we are getting to that point whereby I don't think you even need to leave your house again to go and do anything. You want to go to church, you do it virtually. You want to eat, in fact, to start eating virtual foods now. You want to drink, you want to give birth, you do it virtually. You want to do everything. It's virtual doctor. So you can diagnose yourself, you can trade online yourself, your robots or your smart devices can do anything for you. So it's going to be disrupting a lot of businesses, and a lot of things would change. So you have to be ready for the new change. Like I rightly said, I said from first generation, when there was a disruption, it affected a lot of people. So people were not ready for the new phase or the new age, were left out. So the second generation, now we saw the third. Now we are advanced into the fourth generation, which is automation. Automation is going to come with a lot of disruption, which means a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. Some people are going to be losing their loved ones due to maybe the virtual world. People will become so addicted to it that they don't want to even live, their physical life anymore. And maybe before they wake up to their responsibility, they are already old, So So that's just it. So a lot of things are going to be changing now. Next 5 to 10, 15 years, we're going to be seeing a lot of dynamics in terms of new designs, new design thinking, new strategies, new opportunities would be made manifest as we go on. So I just want to say thank you for everybody who has listened to me today. Like I said, today we looked at Industry 4.0, where it's a world of automation. Things have, changed from the way we used to do things manually to a more digitalized, a more automated way. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that listened to me. Till we meet again same time next week. Please ensure to follow us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, which is Lagoon Radio Nigeria, and on Instagram and Twitter, which is Lagoonradio.Ng. Please watch us on our YouTube channel, which is Lagoon.TV, and please do endeavor to check out our website, which is Lagoon.News. Until I meet you again, same time next week, I still remain your host, Odo Emmanuel. Say bye for now.